But
You are a Lamar Jackson defender, man, and it's cool. I respect it. We're gonna have more to talk about going forward for
hey,
sure.
that's what man-to-man football is
Yeah,
all about. We
yeah.
go we gonna talk to each other. We're gonna throw our opinions out there. What is going on, everybody? It's man-to-man football, week 3 of the NFL. Good and bad. It was okay this week. Defenses are definitely looking a lot better than they did week 1. That was one of my biggest, broadest takeaways from this week. Defenses are definitely looking better. But we had the battle of the noodle arms, and we had a battle of the young boys that can run. But let's just hop right into it. We're going to talk Ravens Chiefs. Dylan, what you got for me, man?
Man, I got a couple questions for you. Would you agree that it should be every franchise goal to win the Super Bowl every year?
Would I agree if every franchise... No, because we are not the Miami Dolphins or the Bengals. So teams like that have to choose to just basically not really tank, but look bad for the draft and get the best available pick.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. That's fine.
Go ahead.
Not the answer that I was expecting, but that's fine. Would you agree that it takes an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl and to be a contender every year?
No, because Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, and he is not elite. But go ahead.
You are gonna defend Lamar Jackson every step of the way here.
Every single bit.
I'm trying to set you up real good, and you're not taking the bait, and that's fine.
I'm not going to do it.
My next question for you: would you agree that a characteristic of an elite quarterback is being able to beat people from the pocket?
Absolutely. That is definitely one that is a characteristic of a quarterback in the NFL. You've got to be able to do that.
With all those questions and all those answers being said, I think the Ravens are in real trouble. I think they have a really good team around their quarterback. I talked about it after week 1. I said Lamar Jackson is a byproduct of what he can do running the football, what the Ravens can do running the football, the good defense they play with a lead. Last night, what we saw on Monday Night Football was the same thing that we saw in the playoffs versus the Titans. The Ravens get down 10, 14 points. Lamar Jackson cannot throw the Ravens back into a football game. You take away the run, you take away the threat that he has, or not necessarily take away the threat, but you make it to where he's not going to win the game with his legs. You make him win the game with his arm. He can't do it. He turned into a pedestrian quarterback last night. He was a check down machine. The Ravens are in real trouble here. They're going to win a lot of games this year, don't get me wrong. They've got a formula that's going to be successful. They're going to get deep in the playoffs. But the second they face Mahomes, the second they face a team that will get a lead, Lamar Jackson, to this point in his career, has not proven he can get it done.
The only thing I can defend with that is I completely disagree. Lamar has
Tell me why.
The reason why is, man, it's week 3. This is a playoff game. You're going to play the Chiefs. And the Chiefs came out and played lights out this week. They played a hell of a game.
They played a good one.
Last week, they did not against the Chargers. So, I mean, we all know teams can show up differently. They all have bad days. The Chiefs came out, locked in, locked out, and they were ready to go. The Ravens, they fell behind early, and then, Lamar had to battle them back. And obviously, Pat Mahomes put the dagger in him. I think it was the third quarter he put that dagger in. It was just about over after that. But Lamar still kept them in that game. They were down, 2 touchdowns already in the first quarter?
I had it.
They were down quite a bit in that game, coming into like the second half, basically.
27-10 and a half. Yeah, 27-10 and a half.
Right. And Lamar battled back, and it got fairly close. And then Chiefs do what they do, and they said, "No, sir, we're going to put this away and keep you out of the game." That's product of the Chiefs. This is, like we said, this is.
Well, hold on, I disagree with it being product of the Chiefs. The Titans did it last year. The Titans did it last year in the playoffs. That's not an explosive offense.
The Titans ran the ball and kept Lamar off the field.
But when Lamar was on the field,
the Chiefs, what they do is completely different than any team in the NFL. They score, and they score fast. They get the ball to Tyreek Hill. They get the ball to Travis Kelce. They kill you with explosive plays. They basically get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, and do a good job of it. Pat Mahomes does a fantastic job of getting the rock into his playmakers' hands. I don't think the Baltimore Ravens receivers-wise are as good as a lot of people say. I think they definitely rely on their run game a lot, which hurts them when they're behind. But I don't think Lamar has as many weapons as Pat Mahomes, and he still produces and keeps these games close with what he has. He doesn't have like a true superstar number one receiver. Whenever we ever came out and talked about the Baltimore Ravens, it'd be like, man, that receiver. It's like, hey, Brown had a really explosive play, but other than Mark Andrews, which is a quarterback's best friend, other than Mark Andrews, he doesn't have a go-to guy.
Where does his best friend go?
On the outside.
When the defense has to sit back and play coverage.
He was in the end zone.
Not versus the Chiefs.
Scored.
But I'm saying it wasn't.
But when people start covering Mark Andrews, what do? There were people all over him when he threw that ball in the end zone. People are all over that guy. Who else does he have to look to?
A whole other offense.
And if you're already down 14, you can't constantly hand the ball off to Mark Ingram, right? You're throwing the ball, trying to keep the clock stopped. He doesn't have receivers. He has deep ball receivers. He doesn't have end zone guys. He doesn't have red zone threats. He doesn't have any of those guys. He does not have a Travis Kelce. And if Travis Kelce's double covered, he doesn't have a Tyreek Hill to go to. He doesn't have a Mecole Hardman to go to. He has a Brown, and that's it.
I mean, I agree with you that he doesn't have the elite.
I don't even know who their other receiver is.
But what I saw from Lamar Jackson was a check down junkie last night. He wasn't trying to force the ball. He wasn't trying to make any plays. He wouldn't let plays develop. He was just, let me get out of my hands. And same thing that happened versus Titans. He's incapable to this point in his career of throwing the Ravens back into a football game.
I think he will be able to once he has more weapons. And that's, again, I think that's, we can talk about this being a product of the Ravens, but part of the Ravens receiving core not being as strong as, you would probably like. But I think Lamar can do it. He just doesn't have the tools yet. That's the only my argument to it. And obviously we won't ever be able to see that until he gets a big name or, they find a big name. That's my biggest takeaway for Lamar. I don't agree. I think he can throw the ball. He's proven to me over the past 2 seasons he can throw the ball. He looks good running the ball. The dude just shakes people. I get it. The Baltimore team wants to run.
He can
but
throw
you
the
can't
ball
run the ball from behind
with a lead, and they're not going to run the ball with from behind. He can throw the ball when he has a lead, and everybody's worried about stopping the run. He can't throw the ball when nobody cares about what's going on in the run game, and they can sit back and play coverage.
Hear you, but I still think Lamar can throw the ball. This is just the Ravens playing the Chiefs in a playoff game. This is a forefront playoff game. They still battled it out. It wasn't like the Ravens were completely down and out of this game. It wasn't like the Ravens were down 21 and didn't even try to come back. They bounced back, and the Chiefs just put it away. That's football.
Yeah.
That's just football. I don't think that's a product of Lamar Jackson not being able to throw the ball. It's just, sometimes that's what teams do. They drop everybody, and you, as a quarterback, you got to take what you got. They teach you that in the NFL. You take what you get. If you have 6 people, if you have team running prevent on you, and they've got 6 DBs deep, you take what's in the middle of the field, and you just have to do that. And you got to take what the defense gives you, right? That's
true. Yeah,
that's
true.
just the Chiefs. That's the Chiefs coaching, playing smart in a playoff game, more or less week 3. And that's just what happens. It's just part of the game. They played well. They didn't really outcoach them. They just played their game and basically made Baltimore try to have to come back. And the Chiefs are good at what they do. Andy Reid is good at what he does, and they're just going to keep him out of it. So I don't think that's I don't think you can knock Lamar Jackson for not being able to throw them back into this game, because Andy Reid's going to say, hey, I'm just going to give you everything underneath, and you're just going to have to take everything underneath. And your playmakers, who was only Mark Andrews and Mark Ingram, personally for me, and they're going to have to make plays, and they're going to have to make the 8 DBs that we've got back miss. Good luck.
There is truth to that, for sure. For sure.
That's the only argument I really have to that. I don't think you can knock Lamar Jackson for losing in a more or less playoff game. That's just the product of two good teams battling it out. I really like this game. For the Ravens being down, Lamar just bounced it back. That was a big thing for me. So I get why you say that. I just don't know if it's true just yet. If this continues to be a problem, then yes. But the dude went deep in the playoffs. You can't knock the guy for not being able to throw the
knocked
ball.
out in their first game last year in the playoffs versus the Titans.
Against Derrick Henry, who ran the ball 4,500 times.
That's fine, yeah.
Which means you weren't on the offense, you weren't on the field. But man, I don't know. That's just a different game, different. I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one because I know how you feel. Let's move on. Pats Raiders. What did you think about Cam Newton? Because I thought Cam Newton played really well against this Raiders team, who has looked really good.
Yeah, Cam Newton and the Patriots offense just in general. Rex Burkhead obviously racked up a bunch of touchdowns. Sony Michel's popping off runs. I really thought that this Raiders defense was starting to look good. I think they made the Saints look worse than maybe what they actually are. And so this was an exciting matchup for me. And the Patriots, man, they just. It wasn't a high-scoring game early, but they pulled away late, and I don't know, man. The mismatches, Bill Belichick finds them. Doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter with who. The Patriots are, you got to respect them, and they're still here to play.
I think this Patriots team is a product of the run game. They just like feeding the running backs, whether it's through the air or through handing the ball off. They like to feed their running backs and give them space to run in, and that's kind of what the Pats did, and you can do a lot with that when you've got a mobile quarterback like Cam Newton. You've got the read options. A lot of people are looking for that now, and they've got to respect it now. And so they're rather than linebackers, basically bolting in and running at the quarterback, they're having to kind of stand still and break down, which leaves that little swing route open sometimes. It puts defense in binds. I think they're doing a really good job of that. I think the Raiders really missed Henry Ruggs. I think, whether we haven't seen him too much in the first 2 weeks of this game, but he's definitely their game-breaking type of receiver that's, their deep ball guy who can make defenses change their coverages based on where he's at. I think people respect his speed because everybody's afraid of speed in this league.
Sure.
I think they really missed him. He was out this week, so I think the Raiders just I think the Raiders are okay. They just played a better coach,
Patriots,
they paid the Patriots. They paid Bill Belichick, and so I don't think we can knock them for that.
For sure.
But we've got
two
a lot
good
of
teams going at it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to the middle of the pack. Let's move on to a little bit worse of a game. You already know I'm gonna rip Carson Wentz in this one, but
you should.
Bengals, Eagles. Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, Bengals, Eagles, man. Who you want to talk about first?
Two teams that couldn't beat each other. That's what I want to talk about. I feel so bad for Joe Burrow, man. Obviously, everybody's kind of talking about he's special. He's this. Obviously, he's talented. He doesn't have an offensive line in front of him, and he got sacked time after time. And he played overtime just to get sacked more. Like it wasn't even a win or a loss. They just tied, and feel really bad for him. They're doing a good job moving the ball. He's still finding ways, to get the ball in the hands of his weapons. They've got plenty of wide receiver, but man, I don't know what you do with Joe Burrow right now. I don't know what the Bengals do. I saw something on Reddit actually that was kind of like, hey, they should just sit Joe Burrow for the rest of the season. They know what they have in him, and I thought that was an interesting idea. Get as high a draft pick as you can. Don't get your quarterback hurt. Yeah, if he gets hit 15 times a game, 20, however many times it was, I don't know how many times he got sacked. It was a ridiculous amount.
Well, it's been at least 1,000 times he's got hit this season already. It's only week 3. But no, the dude's getting blasted. It's bad. The Bengals have to figure something out to protect him. I don't disagree with that comment on Reddit actually, because Joe Burrow has honestly impressed me. He's doing way better with what he has around him than I was expecting. But Joe Burrow you want him to get experience, but at the same time you don't want to get him killed.
Yeah, this is
and he's been getting killed out there.
This is the same thing that happened to Carson Palmer all those years ago when they took him first overall. Carson Palmer came in, he was really good, he was wildly accurate, and he just get hit over and over and over and over. And this
I was gonna compare him to Andrew Luck. It's the same product of that. By the time they start building the offensive line, the quarterback's already done.
It'll be too late. Yeah,
It's too late. So I hope that doesn't happen to Joe Burrow. You know, obviously you wish the best for the guy, but yeah, I agree, man. Like I just hope they don't build around him too late, especially up front. You know, you can build the receiver. You know, if you've got protection, then you can say, hey, you know, we'll build the receivers around these guys. But like when you don't have an offensive line and your guy can't sit back there and drop dimes like what he has been doing, he's been doing really well seeing defenses under pressure. Even matter of fact.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. Joe Burrow, just rest in peace. Hopefully you survive. That's the only thing I can really say.
It was so sad watching him. He got up from some of those sacks and he just kind of tossed the ball to the ref and just kind of jogged off like, oh, I got sacked again. No big deal. And it just been. It hurts. I feel bad for the dude.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy. I hope the Bengals do something for this man because he's
Max
struggling
protect.
out there.
Black with 8. It doesn't matter. Save him.
Do something. But y'all need to protect that guy. Just run too tight. Tight ends are blocking. I mean, I don't know. Just run one route with one receiver and see if he can do something. I don't know. But let's talk about the Eagles, man. Wentz looked awful in this game. Wentz is just not looking like who people thought he was. Absolutely got paid too, by the way.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the Eagles do from here with Carson Wentz? I mean, do they play Jalen Hurts?
I don't know what to say to that, dude. They're paying him too much money.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm a Cowboy fan. So let me just be a Cowboy fan for a second. The Eagles suck. Carson Wentz is bad right now, and I actually thought Carson Wentz was going to be a very, very good quarterback. But right now, he is just bad. He threw like 3 picks, and they weren't like tip picks or anything. They were just bad picks. So
and he all of a sudden looks like an old man when he's running too. He's burly. He almost looks like Tom Brady. Maybe a little faster than that, obviously. But I mean, it's like he lost all his athleticism. I mean, I know he's had some injuries and things, but I mean, he doesn't look like a dynamic quarterback anymore. And I don't know. I know they had some offensive line injuries. I know they had some wide receiver injuries. I don't know what this team does. Yeah, it's gonna be a long year for the Eagles.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long year for the Eagles if Carson Wentz plays the whole season. I actually think that you've got to give Jalen Hurts a shot here. Whether people like it or not, you've got to put him on the field and see what he's got. Even, I hope he doesn't do well because I'm a Cowboys fan. But from a football standpoint, I hope the guy does great. I hope he balls out because Carson Wentz may need a little motivation because sometimes that's what people need. And right now he's comfortable. That's the problem I think they're having is Carson Wentz is comfortable in that position. He just got paid, so he's like, hey, if I throw 3 picks, I'm still getting paid $25 million. So,
maybe it's sad truth. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with the Eagles. Hopefully they can figure it out. Hopefully Joe Burrow can get some protection. But I think it's time to talk about the most improved team we've seen, which would have to be the Vikings.
From the first 2 weeks going into week 3, this team looked like a dumpster fire, and all of a sudden they're going blow for blow with the Titans. And the Titans were 2-0 coming in, Vikings were 0-2, and I mean this was a really good game that was a 1-point margin at the end. So I'm not sure where the Vikings go from here. I mean now they're 0-3. Obviously you start talking about like playoff chances and all that. But they definitely looked better. Dalvin Cook showed out. Justin Jefferson all of a sudden balled out. I hadn't even seen much of him the first couple weeks, and now he's big time on the scene with a breakout game. Thielen's still there, and man, what'd you see? What are you liking?
Same as last week, man. Kirk Cousins is still bad, and Justin Jefferson made him look really good. But I think Dalvin Cook is definitely the heart and soul of this team. This team almost reminds me of the Carolina Panthers. Dalvin Cook is their heart and soul, and if they can't get him going, they're going to struggle. And they got him. He had some really good runs this week. He looked really good against the Titans. So I really think they're just. I think they've been relying on their defense so much these past couple of years, and now that they're starting to lose some of those guys that were making this defense stiff, it's starting to kind of fall apart for them. But Hey, Kirk Cousins got that guaranteed money, so.
It's contract year for him, right? It should be a good one.
I believe so, but you can't really do much with him. You gotta let him play out his contract with all that guaranteed money. But yeah, Dalvin Cook is the heart and soul of this team. Kirk Cousins still doesn't look good. Justin Jefferson, I'm glad the young rookie had a ball out day. He looked fantastic out there on the field. He had a great little sideline catch. I loved watching.
Reminded me a lot of Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs kind of started quiet last year, and then just like all of a sudden tore off on somebody. I don't even remember exactly who it was, but it was early in the season, and I don't know if he's going to kind of have the same Stephon Diggs role or necessarily production, but he sure did this week.
As his fantasy owner, I think he should.
You'd like that to continue, for sure.
Absolutely, but I don't know if Kirk Cousins is capable. That's my biggest question mark for this team, and we all know this is a quarterback-driven league, so we will see for sure. I guess that kind of moves into what we were going to talk about is the rookie wideout breakouts. Justin Jefferson is clearly the number one guy out of this week.
For sure.
The guy had guy was in the end zone quite a bit, so can't beat that for the Vikings. Who else you got for me?
Yeah, I want to talk about Chase Claypool. Not necessarily a anything super breakout game from this week, but every time the man touches the football, he seems to be scoring, making big plays. He's not even playing a whole lot for the Steelers. They've got Juju, they've got Deontay Johnson, they've got other guys there. Chase Claypool needs to be on the field. This guy, every time he's touching it, he's making big plays. I want to see more of him so that he can have that big breakout game. Yeah,
he's definitely their deep ball guy right now. And it's helping them out a lot. I hope we could get a little more consistency out of Claypool. He's like you said, when he touches the ball, he's phenomenal. But we need to get this guy the rock if he's doing that.
Yeah, and they'll eventually see that. They're gonna feed him at one point here. And we're going to get to see a big one from him. I hope it comes sooner than later.
Hopefully. Let's go ahead and move on into week 4. Let's go ahead and start wrapping this thing up unless you want to talk about the Falcons blowing lead again.
Yeah, and that was a funny one because Nick Foles came in the second half. I don't even know if it was really like Nick Foles magic or anything. I just think the Falcons fell apart again. There was some funny plays there, throws that went through the Falcons DB's hands into Jimmy Graham's hands. So I don't know, man. I don't know. The Falcons, I think they fumbled another lead. Good for Nick Foles. It sounds like he's going to be the starting quarterback going forward. That was something that we talked about before the season started. So I think he's going to be a big upgrade to Mitch Trubisky. Bears are 3-0. They're looking good in the standings. I think the team will continue to shine.
Yeah, I think this defense is built for a guy like Nick Foles. I don't think Nick Foles is a superstar elite quarterback, but this defense is elite.
Sure.
And they've got the elite pass rushers to put quarterbacks under duress and keep them in the game. I think Nick Foles is a game manager, and he's going to be phenomenal with a defense like this. Because when you've got a defense that can make plays, and you've got a defense that can keep quarterbacks on the run and under pressure, he can produce, and Nick Foles is going to do well. Yeah, he had some lucky throws in this one. You go through like 8 people's hands and then into Jimmy Graham's hands. But like, you've got to have things like that happen. Again, Mitchell Trubisky wasn't doing anything better, so
he wasn't.
I think Nick Foles is definitely a bigger upgrade. I don't even see how he Mitch Trubisky beat out Nick Foles this training camp.
It had to have been because they didn't have a long training camp. They didn't have preseason. They didn't have all those things. So they gave Trubisky another chance. And the second he had a bad first half, they pulled the plug. And
and that's okay. We all knew he was on thin ice. That's plenty okay. Like you said, I think the Falcons kind of blew this one again, which is. It seems to be a theme for them. Super Bowl down by 20, Cowboys up by 20.
All 3 games this year so far.
Yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad for the Eagles. One thing I do have a question: do you think the Falcons head coach's job is at risk right now?
Oh, it has to be. It has to be. I mean, there's no way around it. You don't collapse, 3 games in a row or whatever, and already be on the hot seat going into this season because they've struggled last year. And, they haven't gotten back to the Super Bowl since, the expectations were high coming after the Super Bowl. and he definitely has to be on the hot seat and on the way out. And then I heard too, the Jets are basically saying the rumor is if Thursday night doesn't go well in their game, they're gonna pull the plug on him, and they'll have a new head coach or a new interim coach or whatever's going on there.
I like it. We got week 4. We're gonna have a bunch of, or week 5 technically. We'll have a bunch of new head coaches. No.
That'd be a crazy turnaround.
I don't think that would be wild. I don't think the Falcons will get rid of them this year, but I think if the Falcons continue to just look bad overall, just start fast and then just look bad the rest of the game for some reason.
Yeah.
If they continue to do that, this coach will be gone. But yeah, man, I think that about wraps it up for this week 3 little recap. Week 4, man. Week 4, I'm looking at this schedule. There's not too much I'm excited about other than the Patriots Chiefs. But if I'm gonna pick somebody other than that, I'm probably gonna take the Bills and the Raiders.
Okay.
I like the Bills. Josh Allen's been balling.
Yes, he has.
You can't deny Josh Allen. He's been looking really good. The boy can run. The boy can, drop some dimes. But I think that he's gonna struggle. I think I could be wrong here, but I think with Henry Ruggs coming back, this Raiders offense is gonna battle out with this Bills team.
Okay.
So, I really, like Josh Jacobs running the ball. I like Derek Carr has honestly surprised me the way he's been playing this season. He's been doing really well. He's been much better than he has the past couple seasons. Maybe he's loving that Las Vegas life. He's probably walking down the strip right now.
Marcus Mariota being the backup there, maybe pushing him a little bit. Kind of like you were talking about with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, kind of see what they have there. Derek Carr doesn't want to see what Marcus Mariota has. He wants to remain the starting quarterback, and he has been playing well. And then
I like that.
You mentioned the Pats and the Chiefs, and that's my game going into Week 4. I'm really
has to be.
Yeah, this is the game of the weekend for sure.
Has to be. Absolutely has to be.
You talk about good coaches going at it. I mean, this is as good as it gets right here. Let's see what the Patriots are really about. I think it's not even a surprise to say the Chiefs are the best team in football. Patrick Mahomes the best quarterback in football. If there's anybody who's going to slow him down, if there's anybody who's going to find a way, it'll be Bill Belichick. And you see what he's done with Cam Newton. You see what they did on the ground versus the Raiders. I'm excited for this one. I think this one's going to be fun.
I can't wait for the Patriots to get up in this game, and then Pat Mahomes start having to check it down to me and be like, "Oh, Pat Mahomes can't throw from the pocket. He can't throw deep."
Well,
that's gonna be great.
You'd be
I'm
ridiculous.
just gonna trash you.
You would be ridiculous for saying that.
Obviously, I'd be joking because Pat Mahomes is a beast. But I just can't wait to do that because Lamar Jackson's a stud. But anyways, back to the Patriots Chiefs. I agree. I really like Cam Newton in this game. I think Cam Newton's very competitive. Bill Belichick's very competitive, and with that, they're going to try to bring it to the Chiefs and stun them with one.
For sure. For sure.
I hope this. I don't hope. I can almost promise you this game is going to be a battle, and it's going to be great. Bill Belichick has shown he can do it without little Tom Brady. He can do it with a mobile quarterback out there. So, I'm very, very excited to watch this game. This is definitely the game of the week to watch in Week 4. You got anything else, man?
I think we're good.
I think so too, guys. Thank y'all for watching. It's Man-to-Man Football. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you think the Patriots are going to just smack the Chiefs, and I should talk crap to Dylon because I really want to. But
you are a Lamar Jackson defender, man. And it's cool. I respect it. We're going to have more to talk about going forward.
Hey, sure. That's what Man-to-Man Football is all about. We're going to talk to each other. We're going to throw our opinions out there. That's the great thing about this. We'll see y'all next week. Thank y'all for watching.
Peace.